Tonight is, thank you. Tonight is Tuesday, January 16th of 2024. I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Before we do that, I'd like to go ahead and call a roll call for attendance.
Councilmember Harding, Ward 1, present.
Councilmember Hobbs, Ward 2, present.
Councilmember Brooks, Ward 3, present.
Councilmember Melinda Mendoza, Ward 4, present.
Mayor present. Thank you very much. I'd like to go ahead and now and ask everyone to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm going to share my screen real quick, just so that we are all on the same page. So this evening we have on the agenda the approval, obviously, of the agenda presentations. I'm not sure if we have anyone on Zoom tonight from AWPLI or DC Charms or Top Flight.
And Charms called earlier and asked if we can move it to February because they're inviting their whole group.
Oh, that's great. Okay. And I'm assuming Mrs. Deborah Holcomb isn't online either.
Correct.
Okay. We have the consent agenda. We're actually not going to be approving minutes this evening. Is that correct, Mr. Holcomb?
Correct. And also, it dawned on me that I failed to put in the Charter Review Committee minutes as well into the packet. So I will send those out after or tomorrow because they're on my work computer, and we'll talk about those in February.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Within the consent agenda, oh, so yes, so we're not going to be reviewing those, so strike those from the agenda for this evening. For tonight, we do have the town administrator and public works operations report, the treasurer's report, public safety code compliance. We don't have these charter review committee notes, do we? Or we do?
No, those are the ones I just said. No,
Okay.
those are
So we're striking those from
Correct.
the agenda for this evening as well under the consent agenda. We'll have the mayor's report, council member reports and concerns. Open this up for resident comments, action, new business. I don't believe we have any new business, do we? I thought we did actually. New business. No, I think we did it at the work session. Okay, unfinished business, Town of Colmar Manor strategic plan, and then allocation of funds to join America and Bloom. So that's from from the work session. And then we'll adjourn. Is the town clerk on?
No, he's going to be absent. He had another meeting he had to attend for his other town.
Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and stop sharing this. So really, we're just gonna get right into the consent agenda. All right, so let me stop sharing. So I'll go ahead and just turn it over to you, Greg, but yeah, I'll just turn it over to you in regards to the consent agenda.
Do we need to approve the agenda?
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. Thank you. I'd like to request a motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
Councilmember Brooks moves to approve the agenda for this meeting.
Councilmember Hobbs, seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. All right. Does anybody want to bring anything up in regards to the consent agenda? Any questions? Anything we need to discuss?
Chief, I had a couple of questions on the report. It appears that and I'll bring up the actual page. So on page 1 of the December 2023 report, it shows that we have 5 traffic stops. However, in the page 4, when it goes over the traffic enforcement, it says we have 9. Are those two different entities?
Let me look at your numbers here. You got 5 on the first page, and
Yes, sir. So on page 1 for your report.
I'll look into it closer, but I have a brief description of how the numbers come into our report. And that is that it's by a reporting area. And we have a reporting area all alone to Colmar Manor. And in the dividing line between Colmar Manor and Cottage City is a center line. And the way the dispatch system is set up is that oftentimes that any traffic stop on Bladensburg Road gets credited to the Cottage City side. That may be what caused those numbers to be off in here, but I'll check that to see if that's in fact the case.
Okay.
From the other, that's on this first page, that's where those numbers come from. On the page that you referred to, where it actually refers to the 9 traffic stops, that's from their ticket system that's in the computer. It's probably more accurate.
Okay, so we should be using the main one that has a incident type and then the total. We should use that number.
For the traffic stops and traffic stops alone, I'd say more the that second number, that 9. Those incident types, that's really like, for instance, these are usually the calls for service and may not be actually what transpired on the scene. But in traffic stops in particular, that number can be skewed a little bit just because of the Bladensburg Road, which side of the road it's on, that kind of thing.
Okay, so the same thing would be for animal complaint. So the line. So we show animal complaints, no animal complaints received during the month, and then we show that we did have some animal complaints.
Yeah, this is from the county dispatch system, and I looked at that, and that was someone calling to ask for animal control. We didn't respond to it. The call takers received a call from a resident who said they needed animal control, and they provided them the information or the number, and that was it. That's generated the incident type on the first, which is a dispatch, just the calls for service in the town.
Okay, which one? Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
It never was dispatched to us, or we didn't handle that call at all. It's the call taker received a call that the person needed animal control. They were provided with the information for animal control, and that was the end of that call. I don't know what it was in. That particular entry didn't go into what the call, why they needed animal control.
Okay. So going forward, which reporting numbers should we use to reference?
I'd say the first one is really just the calls for service, and it can vary for it may not be what it actually is. I should say what it actually is. Oftentimes people call and say, I need the police. I was just robbed. Somebody broke into my car and took my property. That may go on. The incident type is a robbery. However, that's not a robbery. That's a theft. And in the reporting, it would turn into a theft.
Okay.
And I really include that first chart just to give you an idea of what the officers are responding to. Oftentimes, many of them are what they say they are. For instance, shoplifting is probably a shoplifter. But when it translates to either a no report or into a report, when it's categorized is often different.
Okay. And my last question, on page 6, it says the Colmar Manor Police Department report of UCR. What does UCR stand for?
Uniform Crime Reporting System.
Okay.
It's through the FBI, and we're required to provide those numbers to the state of Maryland, and often to the FBI. And it's usually the more serious crimes, your carjackings, your motor vehicle thefts, robberies, does not include things like disorderlies, those kinds of things.
All right, thank you for the clarification. That's all.
You're welcome.
Hey, Chief. I think it might be a good idea, maybe at the next neighborhood watch, or even if you wanted to coordinate a separate meeting, or even if you wanted to sit with Councilmember Brooks to kind of go over these terms again. I think that might be helpful. Since we're always getting caught up with asking these questions at our council meetings, it might benefit anyone who wants to join to learn a little bit more. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yep, and I'll be glad to do that. I'm trying to look there's the Bladensburg Road just causes where the accidents are another where the numbers may vary a little bit. Say somebody calls in for an accident, or we have a traffic stop at 40th Avenue and Bladensburg Road, we could be on the Compare Foods side of the road, which is Colmar Manor, but the computer just interprets it as Cottage City. It's not a.
Thank you. I think maybe like something relevant to ask might be, how's crime lately? Like what would you say are the key takeaways of this report?
Yeah. And going back to that Bladesburg Road thing, for the traffic stops, the accidents, it's not too critical. When it does get critical is what applies to those UCRs. For instance, if it's a robbery, we go back and correct that in the data. And if it's a robbery that occurs on our side of the road, I should say credited. We get a hit on that one, but it goes towards our stats and vice versa but I'll be glad to sit down with anybody, and I'm going to bring it up at the next neighborhood watch meeting.
Is there anything that you want to kind of put of note in regards to crime and how things have been going over the winter season?
Well, as usual, most of our incidents are in the commercial area. We did have one burglary during the month in the residential area of a storage shed. That was it. We did have, unfortunately, we had the ATM in this report. We had a robbery at the ATM, an armed robbery, and we also had a burglary of the Star Nails, where they broke into the ATM machine. And I don't know if you've been watching the news, but the ATM machines and the jaws of life is off the chain. And I think I read today where one day during this week, there was 8 of them in the Washington metropolitan area in a 2-hour period, where they're just hitting them one after another. But,
yeah, I've been seeing that too, regional wide. That's an issue, but when I've been in the shopping center, well, the ATM machine is working. I don't know how long that Bank of America ATM machine has been working, but it's up and running. It's unfortunate that burglary happened there. So this is just a note of caution to everyone to, again, whenever you're out and about, whether it's in Colmar Manor, whether it's in College Park, whether it's in DC, just always be aware of your surroundings. These things happen at all times of the day. The burglary that you mentioned, Chief, happened in the afternoon, like around 4 or something. Am I right?
It was, I don't know I think the exact time it occurs unknown. It was reported that time of day though.
Yeah. So thank you. And actually, I also wanted to say thank you for all of the attention that was given during New Year's Eve. So I received some messages from people saying, it wasn't as bad as it has been in the past in regards to fireworks.
And thanks to Mr. Holcomb, he put out a great graphic for the fireworks, and they were there, but hopefully they were at least reduced some.
Thank you. Are there any other questions in regards to the consent agenda?
No, but to your point about what we can glean from the report, it appears that for the Q4 2023, disorderly was the leading offender with 38. 911 disconnects was 32, traffic stops was 20, and those round out the top 30% of incidents from the spreadsheet report that the chief provided us. If that gives some insight to Q3 or Q4.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any other comments in regards to the consent agenda? None? Okay, so I'd like to request a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Councilmember Hobbs makes a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Councilmember Harding, I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
So do we have the treasurer's report in this agenda? Or do we need to strike that from the approval? Town administrator.
I did not receive it prior to the meeting.
Greg,
Um,
it was sent to both of us. I can forward it to you.
That's what I was wondering if I thought he sent it
Yeah, he
after
did.
it
Let
sent
me,
out.
do you want me to, I think he sent it to both of us last week. From December to,
Oh,
let me re-forward it to you.
I mean, we can approve, I guess we can approve that next meeting and just say, for the town administrator, public works, public safety, those are the items that we approve from the consent agenda. Therefore, we don't have to hold everybody up by reviewing it.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so all in favor of approving the consent agenda for this evening, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, thank you. So the next item on the agenda for this evening. We actually, I'm not sure, is Sal on the line? No. So Sal wanted to come on as part of the green team to give some, oh, yeah, when he comes on, I'll call him to kind of make a little report on the, he's gonna join at 7:30. Okay, so at that time, I'll go ahead and call on him to give a report on the green team. I'll go ahead and go into the mayor's report. So let me share my screen. Mm. Okay. Great. So in regards to events for the month of December, we obviously celebrated holidays in Colmar Manor, and we invited the Maryland Planning Board to come and talk to the youth, the Port Towns youth. And they came and they brought pizza and they asked the youth for their opinions on the Port Towns sector plan. In regards to meetings that I've attended, there was a fundraiser for, oh, there's a, sorry about that, there's a misspelling. There was a fundraiser for Delegate Ivy. There was the Maryland Municipal League State of the Municipality, which was a really interesting event where they discussed kind of the economic state of municipalities in the state of Maryland. There was a PGCMA legislative holiday mixer. And there was the Maryland Black Mayor's election, but also celebration. To give you just a little bit of background, I have been on the board for the Maryland Black Mayors for the past year. I ran to be on the board again and was elected. So I'm a current board member, and I think in this month we'll be electing officers for the Maryland Black Mayors. I still serve as a board member for the Maryland Municipal League. And Mayor Pro Tem Melinda Mendoza serves as the PGCMA president.
Yeah, and you're on the board for PGCMA.
Yes, and I thanks for the reminder. I'm also on the board for the PGCMA. So this is just a reminder to definitely get involved in these committees. These are all things that are learning opportunities, but we don't live in a vacuum. We live with other neighbors, other municipalities, and we can learn from them. And it's just it's great networking for us. Continuous administrative updates, emergency operation plan, which actually is something that we need to kind of kick up into high gear, considering the rain that occurred, the rain emergency. Website is ongoing. We'll be adding more things to the website as we move forward. In our last work session, we discussed restructuring of our front office. So we will be hiring an office manager / program assistant and a deputy clerk. Initiatives and projects, we're still continuing with the charter review. We are still gathering feedback for the strategic plan. So I implore all the council members, when you're talking to residents, one way that you can help is to engage residents and ask them to complete or discuss with them the strategic plan. Again, this is part of us being transparent. This is part of our holistic approach to gather feedback and to move our town forward. The town clerk hosted a budget overview at one of our meetings, an hour before one of our meetings. It was an excellent overview. The recording, I believe, is on our YouTube channel. In February, he's going to deliver us a budget forecast. And I'm looking forward to that. It'll help it'll help us see where we're at. Starting in January, starting this week, actually, we're going to be hosting some office hours with the town administrator and myself. Part of this is to prepare ourselves for an election that's coming up. So I want to be able to engage residents, answer any questions that they have in regards to what running for elected office means in the town of Colmar Manor. I want to be able to discuss the strategic plan, and I want anyone that has any questions in regards to the budget to come and ask questions. And if there's something that they are very passionate about and want to see us do, this is obviously they can always come and email us, call us, but I want to kind of make this like open dialogue available on a monthly basis. The Spanish classes, at first I was a little, disappointed because not a lot of people were coming. I had asked a couple of council members to help. Some of them said no, they wouldn't help, and others said that they would. And to my surprise, at one of our last meetings when we were talking, when we were meeting with the Green Team, some people came. So this seems like it's an initiative that people still want to partake in and be a part of. I think it's just the weather and the holidays kind of slow things down a little bit. I am super excited about the Green Team, the attendance at our last Green Team, and the ideas that are coming out of that, and just kind of the life that's being breathed into it. So I'm looking forward to the projects that are coming up. Some of the upcoming events that we have in town include the Colmar Manor Open House. This is done through our recreational coordinator. So we open up the town hall. We're going to have a vision board activity. We'll be having another open house in February. We're going to have some speed friending. So if you're familiar with speed dating, this is speed friending. So part of the vision for all of these things, and I'll share an article that I've been reading, is about creating a third space. So the primary space is your home, secondary space is your work, and there is a need for a third space, which usually is in the form of like a community plaza or a library or a town hall. So for me, it's about opening up this third space to build community and to have people come out and just partake in the activities that we have going on in town. During the recreational open house in February, we're going to have Cocoa with a Popo, which seemed to be a hit during the Christmas event in town. And I'm trying to see if I can engage someone from the Bladensburg Library to come out and talk to some of the youth in regards to financial aid. On the 23rd of February, we are teaming up with the town of Cottage City. and Chief Ayers to do an event in regards to teen dating and Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. So it's a lock-in, so we'll be spending the night in the town hall, and we'll be inviting panelists to come and discuss different things around conflict resolution, confidence building, what healthy relationships look like. So I'm super excited about that. I told Chief Ayers, yeah, some of our council members actually spent the night at the town hall when we did our retreat. So this isn't new territory for me, and I think it's gonna be a great event. Thank you to Councilmember Harding for engaging with the Black History event and figuring out what we can do for that. The conversation is still ongoing. I recently attended a breakfast for the United Negro College Fund on Martin Luther King Day, and I forgot about Lakeland in College Park, which was a Black community that pretty much got erased. And as I think more about how we honor our Black community, their achievements, the history, and the future of our Black community, again, we don't live in a vacuum, and there are places within our area that are important to Black history here locally. And so I've been thinking through, maybe we can do a bus tour of different places in the port towns or in the surrounding area to kind of delve into that and see how it relates to Colmar Manor. But then again, this entire area is our community. So in March, we'll be hosting a clothing swap. We'll have a women's conference. We'll have another open house, and we'll be celebrating Easter. Just some photos of the past month. So to the left is economist Basur, who talked about the state of municipalities in Maryland. One of the things that he mentioned is that Maryland is in a very friendly state for corporations, so we have to work a little harder to keep them here. He also talked about how the projected cuts to transportation from the Moore administration is not something that is going to bode well for the state of Maryland. And really, if you've been listening and paying attention, everyone is kind of, you know, really budgeting hard to see where they can cut off extra programs. So this is just to keep in mind that we have to be very strategic moving forward, especially when it comes to our budget. To the right is the elected board of the Maryland Black Mayors. This is our Christmas event. We partnered with AWPLI, with Top Flight Corvette Club, with obviously the police who had the Coco with a Popo. We teamed up with the DC Charms who donated toys. So this was just an awesome event. Everyone loved it. There were so many kids, and I am so glad that they were able to go up and get not just one gift, but like 2 or 3 gifts. And Santa was there taking pictures with families. More photos. Our garden club was there selling poinsettias. So that was a little bit of a fundraiser for our garden club. We decorated cookies. Chief, I put the photo here of the food that we received from the county. So every now and then we'll get a notice of, hey, we have some food, can you distribute it to town? And we have a list of people and seniors that we call and ask if they would like some food. On the top right is the movie night that we hosted via the rec committee, and that was a lot of fun. We watched The Grinch That Stole Christmas. And so again, this is the whole concept of a third space. The bottom right is the youth from the area that came out and spoke about what they'd like to see at the Port Towns. Now, this is the Filipino Christmas celebration. So if you weren't aware, this has been going on for 30 plus years. Melinda, correct me if I say anything that's not correct. I am just like in awe of that community, and I love seeing how active they are, and I hope that they become even more active. One of the things, if you haven't noticed this, right in front of the Med Star, there's a bus shelter. And in that bus shelter, there is an advertisement. I don't know what it's for. It's not in English. It's not in Spanish. It's in Tagalog. So I'm actually gonna tomorrow drive by and take a photo of it. So people know that we have a big Filipino community in Colmar Manor. That was not an accident that that ad placement was put there. Trust me, I work in communicating these types of messages to communities. So eyes are on us. And I think this is just another representation of how beautiful our community is. Melinda, do you want to say anything about this? Do you want to say, and I actually have a question for you. Is there a large Filipino community in Cottage City as well?
There are some in Cottage City, but not as many in Colmar Manor. There are a lot in Colmar Manor.
And a lot of the people in this photo may still live in Colmar Manor or used to live in Colmar Manor. They leave and they come back for all of these community events.
Absolutely, you're right about that.
And you're somewhere back there. You were the DJ for this. You're an amazing DJ.
I'm back there somewhere. But it's a good picture. Did you take this picture?
I did. So I was able to catch the tail end of it because I had tickets to the national parks Christmas thing. And so we went there, but I was like, I need to go to the Filipino Christmas because I went last year and it was a blast. So
Thank you. Good picture.
yeah, I love this picture. Thank you. In December we lost former Mayor Hale. I attended his funeral service. It was a beautiful service. This is a photo of him on the right at the ribbon cutting of our town hall. So for those of you who know Mrs. Hale, just check in on her every now and then. I check in on her just to make sure that she's okay, and she definitely appreciates it. This is the drive-through that we did for Santa. And again, I just want to say a thank you to the Langberg family. That is Amelia and her dad. And that's Mrs. Muchler, who's might be one of the oldest residents in town. Or not oldest, sorry, longtime residents in town. And these are some residents they were so happy when they saw Santa drive by. And so people just loved it. And it was a really nice thing. This is my appreciation for our public works. So public works with Al, with Aiden, with Ray, with Kevin, with Ronald. They have been working tirelessly, especially over the past 48 hours. But this is just a photo of Al with the owner of the concrete company taking a look at sidewalks. And he's been on top of this whole sidewalk project. So just kudos to Al, kudos to the concrete company. It's an exciting thing to watch and see in our town. Thank you to everyone that has been calling and giving compliments to our public works staff. Thank you to everyone who's emailed or called to give us feedback on the whole process. We're definitely listening. But it's just exciting to have this project move forward in town. On the upper right-hand side, you'll see the part of the levee kind of collapsed when the big rainstorm happened. I want to give a big thank you to Chief Stone, to the county emergency team that came out, and engineers are currently taking a look at that to fix it. It's not town property, it's actually county property. So we're available whenever they need us, but that's definitely getting addressed. And this is a photo underneath it is just like the water levels at the waterfront. And on the bottom right is the town streets. So again, thank you to Al and all the public works who have been working tirelessly to clear up our streets and to make sure that we can safely get in and out of our houses. So I know that Al's been working long hours. So just a big kudos and thank you to him. I'd like to, before I turn this over to the council, invite Sal from the Green Team to go ahead and give his report from the Green Team.
That is kind. Thank you, Monica. Thanks for the report. Happy to see everybody tonight. My name is Sal Messina. I'm a resident on 40th Avenue, lived in the town for about 3 years now. Fortunate enough to have met many of you. Yeah, just a quick update. The Colmar Manor Green Team is back in action to start out the year. We had a lovely meeting last Thursday, one of our more well-attended meetings in a while. Had 10 folks attend. Green Team really focusing on a couple of projects this year. Many of you will be familiar with town cleanups that we like to do every couple of months. Great opportunity to come out, spend some time with your neighbors and beautify the neighborhood. Originally had planned to have one yesterday, but the snow kept us from that. So we'll reschedule sometime in the warmer future. Otherwise, the Green Team, really exciting committee in that there's a lot of leeway for town residents to essentially, work on projects together that make our community a healthier, more accessible, like more lovely place for us all to live. Yeah, we are working on together. There have been many residents in town that have organized against the proposed development of a gas station at the old car wash lot. The Green Team continues to be an avenue for folks to come together and stay in touch on that issue, stay organized, collect information, and just be in the know. And ultimately working to disseminate more of that information to all town residents this year. Other than that, over the next year, working on potentially adding some composting abilities at the town hall for town events so that there is less food waste. Working on seeing if a food pantry would be feasible and providing support to some of our residents that help address food insecurity in the town for others. Yeah, it's a really exciting time. I encourage folks, if they want to come out to a meeting, they typically happen the second Thursday of each month. In the evenings, we try to publicize that for folks. Otherwise, if folks just have ideas or want to talk with me or other folks on the committee, I invite people to reach out anytime. Yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sal, and thank you for leading the team along with Miss Brenda, and just looking forward to the town cleanup and all the other projects that we have moving forward.
Yeah, it's a good time. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, I'll go back to sharing my screen so we can go over the council member updates. Just 1 second. Share screen. Okay. So, Ward 1.
Good evening, everyone. Councilmember Harden. I'll be very brief. I had something pop in my head right now as I was thinking about it, but I was recently reached out to by a student that graduated from Bowie State. I was talking to them about the ability that we had for a town band, like an orchestra, and they said that they graduated for composition at school, and they're interested in possibly using this as an opportunity for resume building. And I said that, okay, well, we could meet with the mayor, or we could sit down and see what the logistics or just what the avenue would be to go about this. But I'm very much open to that. So I thought that was pretty cool. The second thing that just popped in my head was, we need a film club. I just remembered that I had one in high school. A friend started one, and it segued into C-STEM, and we created a film that we took to Houston, Texas, and put in a competition, which I thought was really cool, like for being in high school and able to get that type of opportunity. So I don't know what could come of it, but I'm just trying to put this out there that there's a lot of clubs that we're not tapping into, and we should, start to build some. But that's my report. I have my report.
Thank you so much. Ward 2.
Yes. Hello, Irina Hobbs, Ward 2. So there's a small part of my report and then that I sent prematurely, and then there are a few additions that I would like to add. First of all, I'd like to thank the code inspector and our police officers for enforcing the laws of the town. Even my husband received a notice, which was great. Well, for the expired registration, which in a way was a confusion. I mean, it was great. He acted upon this, but he was confused because he just renewed his registration in July. So it's unknown why he only got it for 1 month or 2 months. So he did not noted that. But what I'm happy with, just because he received a notice, he acted upon it. He did it online, so it was not a ticket, which is great. So we are just coercing our residents to act, right? So we don't want to punish them. So if you receive a warning, if you receive maybe a fine, there is a way, this is to residents, to work with the town possibly to correct the situation, correct the issue. We do not want to punish anyone, or we don't want to create give you a fine. It's not in our intention. So thank you, Chief, for taking for giving a fine to my husband. So he acted upon it, although it's a strange situation. So yes, we're getting a lot of snow these days, a lot of snow. So please remember to shovel the sidewalks. So in front of your home, it's the responsibility of the homeowner, even if it does not belong to you. You still have to maintain it, and you have to do it within 48 hours. And now a few additions. So I have attended a few meetings / webinars. So the first one was building belonging through art, and that's a series of webinars. The next one will be building belonging through sport and through advocacy. And so in that webinar, I learned that how through art you can make communities more inclusive. So for instance, in the webinar, they talked about welcoming week art installation outdoors. And I thought since we had a great success of hosting a cultural night, I think we can have maybe in the summer or also a day dedicated to new members of our community. It's just an idea. It can be through art, or it doesn't have to be, but it's another idea to have like a welcome day for them. And yes, I understand we do have an event in August as well, but maybe just like something related to art. I know we also talked about painting the curbs, maybe drawing, I believe, some designs on the curbs. And another idea that came out of this webinar for me, I think, maybe include the art from other cultures or the countries people represent. Just an idea. Yes. So this was what I took out of this webinar. Also participated in the Green Team meeting, and kudos to Sal and to Ms. Brenda Jones for getting it off the ground and running. And I think the success is co-hosting it, having two people, because it's at times like having one person in charge is a big responsibility, and you have to maintain notes, you have to create an agenda, ask questions. So like having two people, it's definitely a good way to approach hosting this committee. And online has also worked for a lot of us, so we could join easily. And that concludes my report. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Sure.
Councilmember. Ward 3.
So for Ward 3, want to start off with a thank you, and for resident concerns for thank yous. Residents saw the Public Works team out the night of 1:15 laying down salt, so they were definitely appreciated to that, and then subsequently plowing the roads. So definitely the residents have been noticing that, and they are very appreciative. Want to thank Free Rosales for investigating a potential permitting concern that a resident brought up. Also want to thank the Charter Review Committee for giving their time to that cause to ensure that we're in compliance, and also the whole process of the repairing of the sidewalks. Some of the concerns, communication mediums regarding the sidewalk repair. There was a resident that was had some concerns about how it was communicated. We informed them that it was brought up during the town halls. However, there are other things that maybe we can leverage in the future. Another item was street parking continues to be an issue, and a resident had requested that maybe we apply the parallel parking space lanes, so it gives a good visual of how much space to allocate. Another one was along the same lines of the street parking and possibly revisiting our town registry of all the rentals and making sure that that's up to date. From a health updates, so the Prince George's Health Department has a PSA about getting your flu shots. So currently, health departments, community clinics are open to all county residents. So those under 18 must be accompanied by a parent or legal guardian. However, the Cheverly Health Center is open from 9 to 3 from Monday through Friday. So if you have not already received your vaccinations, feel free to reach out to them. From a financial standpoint, there's a report on the Maryland Department of Labor regarding the Career Pathways for Healthcare Workers program. So basically what it does is they're accepting funding. The program basically provides funding for employers to support healthcare workers interested in furthering their education and training. So the applications are due by March 25th, and the awards will be announced by June 1st. If you want further information about that, you can go to the maryland.gov career pathways and learn more about that. Maybe your employer, you're in the healthcare industry and you want to further your education, and maybe this is a way to help your employer pay for that. Regarding legal updates, there is the Bag It Right. So that took effect January 1st. So consumers will need to bring their own reusable bags when shopping or be charged at least 10 cents per purchase. So that went into effect January 1st. And then lastly, through the county exec, also Brooks, one of the things that she mentioned in her legislative 2024 section was a prioritizing securing funding for programs and initiatives that focus on developing our youth and build our resilience to climate change. So given the current weather, I think that's what we're in line with, maybe the stormwater drain, as well as there's still time for us, maybe looking into what other organizations we can partner with for summer internships, apprenticeships, or co-ops. That might be something to reach out to business leaders and then reach out to the community to bridge that gap and to hopefully provide them a avenue for gainful employment. And that is the update for Ward 3.
Ward 4.
Thank you, Mayor. So I don't have a big report, but so I just wanted to say happy 2024 to all. I hope that 2024 brings you all lots of love, laughter, and joy. I wanted to reiterate a big thank you to the Colmar Manor staff, from the Public Works to the Police Department for all the support and safety for our residents during these cold days. Just wanted to bring up the traffic in the AM and the PM. Please remember to take your time in the morning and evening commutes through the town. I got with Tony Ruffins from Pepco to just go over, I don't know about you guys, but my electric bill has been like out of control. So I got with him to just try to communicate some suggestions on how to lower the energy bill. And so he had given me a couple of things. One was during the coldest and hottest days to just close shutters, curtains, or drapes to create an insulating barrier. To install solar shades or drapes on your windows. The shades reduce glare and provide insulation. When leaving a room for 15 minutes or more, turn off the light. If you leave the TV on for a pet, try using a radio instead. Another thing is buy the most recent energy saving fixtures and LED bulbs. When you need a new appliance, look for Energy Star label and ask a sales representative about the conservation reports. And the last one is to use cold water for laundry or take a cold shower. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Councilmember Mendoza. I just want to thank most of the council for sending over your updates via this PowerPoint. It really helps when we see like this kind of layout with actual information. So that we always get these comments about people didn't know about this, people didn't know about that. And I understand because not everyone can attend meetings. And we do have this recorded and we do share it on our YouTube channel. But my strategy too has been to be able to share these slides with our residents and with our community, so they can see what advice you have, they can see what ideas you have, they can see what you've been working on. So when I see slides like this and the ones that Councilmember Hobbs and Councilmember Harding, these are helpful because these are a record of things so that people can go back to them and say, oh, this is what they were talking about, and this is some of the things that they're passionate about and some of the advice that they're giving. In regards to health in the area, there has been talk because RSV, COVID-19, the flu, those cases are rising throughout the US and in Europe. So there has been discussion about universal masking, and basically what that means is a recommendation to wear masks in medical settings. So if you're in a hospital or a medical center, the recommendation is to wear a mask. The other thing that was a little alarming to me is that gonorrhea rates are going up. DC Health put out a release, I think it was this morning, in regards to that. So this is just a reminder that we should be educating people and bringing resources to the town when it comes to sexual reproductive health. And this is why it's really, I think, important to have those relationships with a holistic life, AWPLI, to have them here and to see how we can use them moving forward to kind of educate our residents on this. And I think in regards to like green initiatives and whatnot, Greg, we've already been working with a couple of organizations and continue to look for that as well, correct?
Correct. We are on the list for the Chesapeake Bay Trust Climate Corps. And then, yeah, that's been the biggest one that we've applied for. Essentially, we're a host site. We just have to find a student in the area that would be interested in participating in that. And there's some information will be going out from the town on that and how any student can really apply for that, because there's going to be other positions throughout the area as well, not just with us.
Yeah. So this is just to say that you can definitely tie into the work that we're doing. So all you need to do is just talk to us and just say, hey, like, what are you guys working on? How can I help? That's where we could use the most assistance from council. And obviously, as you go out and you talk to residents, same thing, talk to them about the strategic plan. Encourage them to come out to our public town meetings. Encourage them to be a part of a committee. This is where tangibly your boots on the ground really help us. I think that's it in regards to all of the report outs. Let me stop sharing my screen. And next up on the agenda is resident comments. So if there is anyone online that would like to make a comment or has a question, please raise your hand.
Is it it's our public works team that plows the roads, is that right? That's cool. I didn't know that.
Sorry, can you repeat your name and what street you live on?
Yeah, my name is Sal. I live on 40th Avenue. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, just for those who have joined us, and just really a reminder to everyone, thank you to Al, thank you to Aiden, thank you to Kevin and Ray, to Ronald, thank you to Greg and Chief Stone for all of their work, especially now with the couple of weather events that have taken place in town. I got really excited this morning when I was getting dressed. Gosh, I shouldn't say this anyways. Was I? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
don't sleep and slide.
well, I was listening. I was in my PJs. I was in my PJs, and then I hear a truck coming down the street. And so I got super excited and I got tangled up in my own curtains. But then when I opened them up, I saw Aiden and I was like, "Hey," and he just waves out the window and I just thought that was pretty awesome. So just to see them, and even when I called Greg. I call him on the weekends. And I'm like, listen, are we good for this weather thing that's coming? And you know what? He has it under control. We have a very competent team. And so thank you everyone for kind of coming together and working to advance our town and to keep our town safe. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
I just wanted to add one note on the plowing as well, as the team was first in line to receive salt in Hyattsville. So we beat out all the other towns, including Hyattsville, to receive our salt. So, however, as a warning, though, they actually stopped us today from receiving any more salt because they're conserving for this weekend's a possible event. And apparently, there's some type of shortage out there that has to deal with the city of Baltimore and the region's salt supply. So, just as a warning, but it took seven of the salt spreader loads in salt spreader to do the town over the event.
Anyone online that has a comment or a question? Okay, I believe that PGCPS might be on a delay tomorrow, a 2-hour delay. I'm not sure what other government agencies might be running on, but just keep an eye out for that. Greg, thanks for coming in today. I know a couple of the staff couldn't come in today because they have kids and, you know, this weather event kind of disrupts everything. So, all right, so if there are no other questions or any other feedback, I'll go on to the next part of the agenda. And then if anyone has comments afterwards, since we didn't really have any this time around, just raise your hand. So under number 10, action, as part of the agenda, we have nothing under new business. And we do have unfinished business, which includes the Town of Colmar Manor strategic plan and the allocation of funds to Join America and Bloom. Excuse me, I'd like to add to that Melissa sent all of us just what 20-30 minutes ago the budget, the treasurer's report. So I don't know if anyone has any questions in the interim about it. We can definitely discuss it at the next meeting, but if there's anything that's glaring or coming out that you have questions about now after taking a quick look at it, just go ahead and bring it up. But I'll go ahead and turn it over to the town administrator.
Thank you. Before you is the updated version of the strategic plan, just as a reference point for the record and for those that have joined us that may not know this. Going back, starting in March of last year, the town council held a retreat And the strategic plan is built off of that retreat of the visions from the council and the mayor. And it was a professional facilitated retreat. And out of that, we came up with some tenets that we all agreed on as being our most important aspects of helping to govern the town. From that, I took comments from the public, from council members, from staff, over the almost year at that point that I had been on staff, and built out the strategic plan from the things that have been commented of what the town should do here and there, to things that we've learned from the past that didn't work or did work, and just ideas from staff on how to accomplish some of the goals from that retreat going forward. And what we did was put together, this is a 5-year plan. It's quite lengthy, but we added in the last meeting. So we've had this plan in place, not in place, but presented and working on it since September. And we've had several iterations of it where we fine-tuned it. As of the last work session, I added some more actual tangible dates, or not dates, I'm sorry, accomplishment goals into the actual plan. And now the next step is, after the council approves this, we will then fill in those blank gaps that you'll see in those 2 columns on the right-hand side. And we will go ahead and fill in, which departments are responsible for it, and put some dates to it. And then this way we can build out a calendar to show everyone, how we plan on going about achieving these goals over the next 5 years. Some of the things that you may see in there are things that have already been done or are in the works. And that's partially because we started this back in March. So for instance, one of the goals that I know that's still in there is to create a new website. And so we did that. But that was because we started this back in March of last year. And so that process took place over the last year, and we did accomplish that. But there are many more goals that we need to accomplish. So I'm presenting this edited version, most updated version from the work session, and hoping that you all will pass it tonight so that we can start putting it into a calendar and building out the workflow from that. Does anyone have any other questions?
Councilmember Brooks Ward 3 moves that we approve the strategic plan so that we can further assign responsibility and dates and build out the calendar workflow.
Councilmember Harden, I second that motion.
Any discussion? I do have a question, Mr. Holcomb. Will this be translated into Spanish?
Yes, I apologize for that. I believe that's actually, maybe not, but I believe that's one of the goals of the plan, actually, is to start translating more into Spanish.
Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Ayes have it. Great, thank you so much. I've posted the link to the survey that's on the website in our chat. So again, if residents are calling you, if they have issues, if they have feedback they want to share with you, by all means, take that feedback. But what would be really helpful is if you had them complete the survey. We want everyone involved. We want everyone to have seen this, and we want to make sure that everyone has been given the opportunity to provide their feedback.
I can add to that too. Feedback is always going to be welcome throughout the 5 years. As we've discussed, these are high level items. There are some very specific things in there, but a lot of them are very high level. So if residents have ideas of how we can accomplish some of those goals, by all means, please share them with us so we can try to work them into the operational plans that come next.
Thank you. All right, next item on the unfinished business, Mr. Holcomb.
Yeah, so as part of the approved strategic plan, one of the items was to join America in Bloom, as we presented at the work session last week. It's an organization that is really dedicated towards beautification, what beautification can do for towns to really boost the community development, but also economic development, all through planting of flowers and other plants, but also looking at some other things. And we're hoping to join at that level, the third level, to get the consultation with them, to be a real good partner with that organization. So we're requesting $1,250 towards that application, and we'll build in, as the question was asked in the last meeting about the bringing in the consultants and having them come through. We're going to build that into the next budget, so in July. So this is just to join, and that application deadline's in February, so. I'm requesting a approval for the $1,250 and the membership line to join America in Bloom.
Councilmember Brooks 3 moves that we approve the request for $1,250 for the American in Bloom membership level 3. Understanding that, oh, sorry, go for it.
Councilmember Hobbs seconded.
All in favor? Actually, any discussion?
Did you remind me, Mr. Holcomb, where are we getting the funds from again for the $1,250?
Good question. So I believe you would, for this purpose, I think we would just take it from the unreserved.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a great step forward in the right direction for the town regarding our sustainability.
I just shared the website, just for those attending online, so people can look at it and get familiar. I browsed their website, and support it.
Yeah, this is super exciting. I think, again, it's important to look at the details and the reports that the chief brings out. Like, we always have to be like mindful of what's happening in our town. What I'd like to see is big, like Greg is always telling me this. Think big picture. Like, what do we want to see in our town? So this is a step in that direction where we're talking about using flowers, beautification for pedestrian safety, for traffic safety, to make our town look better. When Councilmember Hobbs talks about painting our streets and even painting murals within our town hall, these are all things that really kind of like build our community. So, but that's also like a budgetary consideration. So these are things that we need to think about. But then, as I've been mentioning, let's start talking about these things now so that we're not rushing into them come May. So if we know that these are things and projects that we want to follow up on, let's start talking about it now and figuring out where we're going to get the money for this, or what grant opportunities. This is what Greg has been kind of asking for, and that's a reason why we have this strategic plan guidance. Like, what do we want to see in our town? So I think that is super important, and that's helpful. I let Chief do what he needs to do. I let Public Works do what they need to do. They are capable departments. I think obviously we're all tasked with overseeing the operation of our town, but we're also tasked with the long-term vision of how we're moving our town forward. So I just want to say again, thank you, Greg, for kind of herding all the cats and putting this plan into a document. And I'm just super looking forward to it. Any other discussion? Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The ayes have it. So I'd mentioned that Melissa had emailed us the treasurer's report. Is there anything that is glaring to you from the treasurer's report that you want to discuss?
I'll review it after this meeting, and I can discuss it with him later. But I don't feel that you should rush it. You take your time, and I mean, he put the work into developing it, and all of the departments put work into developing the report. So we should give it the respect and take our time looking at it.
Yeah, no one said anything about rushing anything. I'm asking if anyone has any glaring questions tonight that they want to bring up after receiving the email. We'll obviously discuss it at our next work session. But is there anything that piques your interest when you look at it now? And this is just a reminder, let's be efficient with our time. Some questions we can ask beforehand. Like, we don't need to spend 30 minutes asking about coding for certain things. Like, we can ask this beforehand so that we're using our time more effectively.
So what's that in relation to, Mayor?
It's in relation to how we conduct our meetings, Councilmember Brooks.
Is there a specific incident?
In general,
Oh, so no specific incident.
just in general, I'm talking about the efficiency of our meetings. Is there
Sure.
is there an incident that you want to bring up?
No, I was asking to clarify. I'm trying to understand things, so just clarify.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the efficiency of our meetings because I feel like I've repeated this before. If you have questions, like, we receive these reports way before we come to these meetings. So I think moving forward, I'll repeat it again, if we have questions, if you have anything that you want to bring up that maybe we don't need to bring up at a public meeting because it's just a question about coding, bring it up before the meeting so we can use our time more productively. I'm kind of shocked that it's 8:14 and we've gotten through the entire agenda. But I think maybe we can even cut that shorter. It's just about efficiency.
Sure. And so we received the meeting agenda on 1/12 at 5:07. So if there's a way to receive it maybe a week out, that might help too. So again, to your point, trying to find efficiencies. I agree. I agree.
Councilmember Brooks, we agree on something? Oh my goodness, this is amazing. What do you think about that, Mr. Holcomb? Can we get this out a week beforehand?
Doubtful. I mean, it takes time to close out the end of the month, and by the time Dan gets that done, especially for the financial report, not to mention just preparing some of the items for meetings. I mean, sometimes they're in advance. Sometimes there are things we're trying to follow up on from the work session, and there really only gives you about 3 days to do. Was one of the reasons why I asked to have the meeting, so it was work session, week off, council meeting, instead of work session, council meeting. But no, it's, and both of those are at the very beginning of the month, so it would be very difficult to do that. But that's why I added in the 72 hours in advance. And I'm okay with postponing things when they don't meet that deadline.
No, I think you're making it more efficient than it, from what I was aware that it was in the past. So just takes me, I have a family and I do things on the weekend. So Mondays or Tuesday, I have to wake up early to review all the information to make sure that I do what the residents ask me to do and represent them and read all the material. So, yep.
Yeah, and I want to thank everyone, all the council members, for doing that, for taking time, because we all have things that we're going through. We all lead busy lives. We all have families. So again, thank you for your service. I think that this brings up a good topic of discussion, actually. Elections are coming up, maybe in May, depends on what the Charter Review Committee recommends. But this might also be the time where we need to start thinking through a retreat if this is something that we want to do again. And then thinking about what the town administrator is suggesting. Maybe the meetings are have a week in between them. But that's something that we can discuss when the time comes. But this is just, again, let's think through how we can make these meetings more efficient and use our time more efficiently. Bladensburg hosts their town meetings and they're an hour long. So, and they get a lot done. So I don't think that there's anything else left on the agenda, but I'll go ahead and open it up to anyone who's online that has any feedback or questions. Okay, well, it's 8:18. I'm kind of in shock, but thank you, everyone. And yeah, if there are any questions in regards to the treasurer's report, anything that you want to email for the good of the order to all the council, anything that you need clarity on, definitely feel free to check in with our town administrator, check in with our town clerk / treasurer, check in with Chief Stone if you have any questions. And I would like to request a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Councilmember Harden will make the motion.
Councilmember Brooks seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so I think we're all in favor. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Be safe.
Good
I
night.
can't believe that we're done at
Stay warm.
8:19. 8:19, we're done?
Breaking records.